What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 3. Sleepers and studs. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. Welcome to the channel. If you're a first-time viewer, we do NFL videos every day, so be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. And if you stick around to the very end after all my picks and after I show you the Draft Dashboard daily fantasy tools, I'll give you a secret pick that's going to have a huge week 3 and no one else is going to be talking about. Okay, in this video, I'm going to give you a sleeper and a stud for each position. At quarterback, I like Jimmy Garoppolo, who's yet to have a breakout game in the 2018 NFL season. Jimmy G faces the absolute worst defense so far this year, the Kansas City Chiefs, who have also given up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Jimmy may have his favorite target, Marquise Goodwin, back for week 3, and the Kansas City Chiefs have a killer offense. I expect the Chiefs to take the lead in this game, meaning Jimmy G will be playing from behind and forced to air it out all game. This is a risky stud pick. If you're not feeling Jimmy G, go ahead with Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, or Kirk Cousins. All great week 3 quarterbacks. I just think because of the poor start and the bad luck for Jimmy, he will be low owned and in a terrific matchup where he could go off and throw for a ton of yards and ton of touchdowns to keep pace with the Chiefs. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all the tools for NFL, MLB is still going, NBA is right around the corner. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Okay, now for a low salary quarterback that may fly under the radar. I like Dak Prescott, facing the Seattle Seahawks defense, who certainly is not the great defense everyone remembers. Dak is only $5,100 DraftKings salary, and he's a dual threat because he has 5 and 7 rush attempts in the last 2 games. Dak will be low owned. He hasn't done much this year, only scoring 15 fantasy points last game. After playing a Monday night game, the Seahawks have a short week to prepare for Dak. Seahawks gave up 24 points to Mitch Trubisky, who really didn't play that well. Dak won't miss open targets down the field like Mitch was. I got a feeling Dak Prescott and the Cowboys are going to light the Seahawks up in week 3. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $100 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won, and then we'll send you $100 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Okay, let's take a look at running backs. My stud running back for week 3 is Todd Gurley, once again for the second week in a row. I think Gurley has more upside than Alvin Kamara and at a lower price. Gurley is facing the Los Angeles Chargers, who have given up the 8th most fantasy points to opposing running backs so far this year. Todd Gurley left the game with an injury, but it turned out to be cramping, so maybe that scares some people away from him this week. Gurley is playing 80% of the offensive snaps. He scored 32 fantasy points last game on 19 rushes and 3 targets. This won't be a Buffalo blowout like last week, but I expect Gurley to go for 100 plus yards and at least 1 touchdown in this game. Okay, now for a low salary running back. I like Matt Breida, who just moved up the depth chart over there in San Francisco. Breida scored 28 fantasy points on 11 rushes and 4 targets last game. He looked really good, and this week he's facing the worst team defense, the Kansas City Chiefs, who also have given up the 4th most fantasy points to opposing running backs this year. Amazing matchup for Breida. He will be super low owned, only $5,400 DraftKings salary. Definitely worth a look and definitely worth a shot in one of your lineups. I'm just hoping this wasn't a 1-week wonder performance by Matt Breida. Okay, who do we have at wide receiver? I have to go with Julio Jones as my wide receiver stud for week 3. Julio was a bust in week 2, only scoring 11 fantasy points off 9 targets. This will drive his ownership down for week 3, where he faces a bad team defense in the New Orleans Saints, who gave up the absolute most fantasy points to wide receivers so far this year. Tremendous matchup for a tremendous talent in Julio Jones, who's playing at home this week. I expect this game versus the Saints to be a high-scoring shootout between Drew Brees and Matt Ryan, and Julio Jones should get a huge chunk of the scoring in this game. For my wide receiver sleeper pick, I like Dede Westbrook for the Jacksonville Jaguars facing the Tennessee Titans, who have given up the second most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers so far. Dede scored 18 fantasy points on 5 targets and 1 rush attempt in Week 2 versus the Patriots. Only $4,600 DraftKings salary, most people will be playing Keelan Cole, who made a crazy one-handed Odell Beckham-like catch versus the Pats last week. Wow, that catch was good. For this reason, I like Dede for Week 3. I think Cole will draw the coverage, leaving Dede Westbrook open for another big game. Okay, moving on to the tight end position. My stud this week for tight end is Travis Kelce. Finally had a huge game last week with 33 fantasy points on 10 targets. Mahomes is the real deal, guys. There's going to be plenty of touchdowns going around in Kansas City, and Travis Kelce should be on the receiving end of most of them. Huge red zone target, Kelce has a good matchup versus the 49ers this week, in a game that I think will be high scoring and competitive the whole way through. If you need a low price tight end, take a look at George Kittle. Okay, look, I know I've picked a ton of players from this game already. I don't recommend playing them all in the same lineup. I do love this game though, and I think Kittle rebounds from a poor outing last week with only 4 fantasy points off 4 targets. Kittle has a great matchup. The Chiefs are giving up the second most fantasy points to opposing tight ends this year. If you played Kittle in Week 2, he was a bust. But stick with him while everyone else moves away from him and reap the rewards in Week 3. If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. You've unlocked the bonus content. Hey, thanks for hanging around. My secret sleeper pick for Week 3 is Chris Godwin for the Tampa Bay Bucks, facing a bad defense in the Pittsburgh Steelers, who gave up the 6th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers this year. At $4,800 DraftKings salary, Godwin's price has come up a bit. That's because he scored 13 and 17 fantasy points in the last 2 games, off 4 and 6 targets. He's got a great matchup at home, and I think his ownership stays low, despite the good production. He's not the big name in Tampa Bay, but he's got Fitz magic throwing him the ball. Could this be the week Fitz loses his magic? 2 amazing games now, starting to look more like a trend than a coincidence. That's why I'm jumping on Chris Godwin as my super sleeper pick for Week 3. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video if you haven't already. Have a great Week 3, everyone, and please comment below with your favorite player for Week 3.